Very special evening for all of us, and we are delighted to see so many community members wanting to celebrate with us this evening. Would you please join us and rise and salute the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Kim, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Lowenthal,
Here.
Chang,
Yes.
Burnett,
Here.
Mayor James.
Here. Kim, will you canvass the votes, please?
Resolution number 01245, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Cupertino receiving the declaration of election results for the general municipal election and for the Garden Gate reorganization, ballot measure D, held on November 6, 2001. The Santa Clara County Board of Supervisors has canvassed the votes for the City of Cupertino elections. The canvass is attached to the resolution as Exhibit A. In the City Council race, the 3 candidates who received the most votes were Sandra James, Patrick Kwok, and Dolly Sandoval. At this time, I ask that the City Council adopt Resolution number 01245, which accepts the canvass of votes.
So moved.
Is there
Second.
Please vote.
Motion carries unanimously.
Okay. This is my last night as mayor, and I get to do a really fun, special thing. It's my last role, and that's to honor a very special man and a comrade, and that's Councilmember Don Burnett, who's been on this council for 8 years. I've been privileged to work with him as a council member for 4, and before that as a school board member. And so we're going to start off this evening by honoring the 8 years he has given of himself for all of us, and we're going to start with a video.
It looked like at that time the state would require us to do something like 50% of that in order to have an acceptable housing element. To support and defend the Constitution of the United States
And the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
This obligation, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which you are about to enter for the City of Cupertino.
I do. Today, a little different emphasis. Rights are important, but we also have community rights and community needs.
Vice Mayor Batista are going to assist me in turning over the soil here, and this project will be officially underway.
There we go. We have a city government here that's where we have a whole that's the greater than the sum of the parts, which is a wonderful thing when people build on their strengths. Rather than in a lot of situations where you have a lot of acrimony and feuding that goes on. And I think it's shown in the accomplishments we've had in the past 4 years. It's a safety issue, it's a quality of life issue. People can now reach the park from that side, and they don't have to deal with all the traffic in the middle. So it's really a wonderful thing for the community, and almost a lifelong thing. I'm really happy to see it. The worst traffic I ever encountered in this valley is not in the recent past. It was back in 1959 and 60, trying to get from here down to Lockheed on those 2-lane roads. It was really something. The last chance.
This is your last chance, Doug.
How about that? I go out in the blaze of glory, right?
Right.
I move that ordinance number 1888 be read by title only, and that city clerk's reading constitute the second reading thereof.
Second.
Please vote.
Unanimous.
Now we get to say all kinds of things about you, Don. And I'm going to ask Richard to start.
Oh, what an honor. You know, it's an interesting way that I met Don. Maybe not met him the first time, but I think so, actually. I was starting to think about entering politics and wanted to have a discussion with Don. Don doesn't have any time for politics per se. He has time for the city of Cupertino, and he works a lot of hours and diligently for all of us. So what I had to do was take up cycling, and that was how I took up cycling. And many people know me as a cyclist, but Don's the cause of that, because the only way I could find time with Don is Monday mornings at 9:30 when he would ride from Cupertino to Menlo Park and back, which is kind of a nice long time. We would stop midway and have coffee, and that's how I met Don. That's how I wooed him into endorsing me in my campaign, which was very valuable to me. And it started a long history of me being mentored by Don. We've spent a lot of time together. Don is free with his advice, and it's a good thing because it's well-reasoned advice, and he's aware of a lot of issues that are of importance to Cupertino that we don't talk about much in here. These are regional issues, issues of housing and transportation, the big quality of life issues, not the ones here when we talk about setbacks. I mean, we spend most of our time talking about setbacks, frankly. But Don's looking at the big picture. You know, will we have transit here 10 years from now? Will we have BART coming to this area? Will we have light rail in Cupertino? So with all the good work he does here in council and the amazing contributions he's made to our city, many of them you'll never see. They are ones that are behind the scenes, that take hard work, that aren't visible on a day-to-day basis. Don and I have come to agreement on a lot of issues. On most issues, we see eye to eye. He and I are very different ideologically, but it turns out that Don is a guy who only cares about doing the right thing for Cupertino, and our common interest there makes it such that he gives sound advice. The most remarkable thing, I think, and I'll bet everybody here will mention it, about Don is he is not afraid to take a position. There'll be an issue, he'll take a position, he'll share that position with us. And if you talk to him, and if the people of Cupertino come and talk to them, and they have reasoned judgments about why he should change his mind, he does it every time, without hesitation. So he'll come in here, sure, this is the way to go. But he's the best listener I ever met, and he's the best, most responsive leader of a community I've ever met. And it's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to sit here, discuss an issue. We come in here with our point of views. Don has never made his mind up before he hears the people and hears us, and he's absolutely open to new ideas and people's thinking, and it's just been a pleasure to observe it, Don, and I hope I meet another person that's as good a leader as you are sometime.
Thank you. Michael.
Great comments, Richard. No one is perfect, and Don is not perfect, but he comes close to it. I've served with Don for about 5 years here on City Council, and I also regard him as a mentor. I remember running for City Council and going to him, and how open he was. I still remember clearly going to his house, talking with Don, and of course also Nancy, and receiving a really warm reception and finding many things that we have in common, both for the future of Cupertino, and we were able to talk about many issues that were very important to us. Richard has already mentioned how Don is a person, maybe it's his engineering background. He would always listen to new data, and he would incorporate those new data into his decision process, and he would make decisions that make sense for the community. There's another side of Don that I really do admire a lot, is his side where he's a fighter, especially as he began his term here. I think that Don has the vision of Cupertino that was very neighborhood focused, that was very resident focused, and he pursued that with a passion. He had a certain vision of Cupertino where communities come together, where we do not overdevelop, and that's his vision, and he has stuck to it, and he has helped set the tone on many councils here. And it's that Don that I particularly admire, that he's willing to be the only person sometimes out there, but if he has a position, he would listen and he would change if it makes sense, but if it doesn't make sense to him, he's not afraid to be the only person out there. And I really do admire that quality from Don. He's really, to me, the person that represents the citizens of Cupertino, the little people. He cares so much about them, and that's the perspective that he comes with. He is so sensitive to issues of multiculturalism. Those are not always easy issues to deal with, but he is so far ahead of so many of us when we come to talk about those issues, and it has been a real pleasure working with Don here on this council. I will sorely lose him. Don is not a perfect person, but as a council member, he is perfect.
Don Burnett is an absolute treasure to work with. He has many of the qualities I admire and hopefully live my life by. At the top of the list is integrity, something I feel very strong about and is lacking in many people, but not in Don Burnett. He ran for office because he had strong feelings about the tier system and extra square footage that was given to developers, and he cared a great deal about housing and about trails and bicycle paths. And he has stuck to that for 8 years, diligently, passionately, never given up the fight, regionally making the partnerships it took to pull some of that off, which you cannot do in isolation, establishing a reputation amongst people such as myself who admired his tenacity, his honesty, his hard work, and his care. Don Burnett has given a lot to this city, to this community, many things that we aren't even aware of yet, that we will be aware of down the road. He was challenged this last year with a very serious illness, and he showed us all in public how to deal with those kinds of issues also, with the same kinds of passion and honesty and integrity and dedication. You are truly a fine man and a treasure, Don. It has been an honor to work with you, and I'm looking forward to working with you on that side of the podium as well. Thank you for all you've given to all this community on behalf of everyone here. We truly, truly do. Thank you. Are there members of the public who would like to speak to Don's issue? And if you would just come up to the podium. This evening we have a little different process since this is very ceremonial. You don't have to fill out a card, and we don't limit your time. However, you may not have 2 hours, but just come ahead forward if you want to speak and tell us who you are.
My name is Lynn Faust, and I have a letter to Don Burnett. I'm here tonight to publicly thank you, Don, who as a Lockheed engineer back in 1990 retired from one full-time job and took on another one for a lot less reimbursement. In George Moore's recent Cupertino Courier article on Don's departure from the council, our past mayor was described in this fashion: solid as a rock, strong character, high integrity, passionate, dedicated, and true to his beliefs. I'd like to echo from that article Leslie Brunell's sentiment that Don's departure is a tremendous loss to the city, and Kathy Nellis's when she said that the community is a better place because of his efforts. As Sandy said, he's a mentor for all of us, and Webster defines a mentor as a wise and faithful counselor, a trusted advisor. The origin of the word mentor from the Greek mythology, as Ulysses set out on his famous 10-year odyssey, comparable to at least a couple of terms on the city council, he asked his faithful friend Mentor to become the guardian of his son, Telemachus, to advise, support, and guide him in his father's absence. Mentors are influential people who significantly help others reach their goals. They advise, teach, give encouragement, and serve as role models. Don, you've certainly been a mentor for me, especially when we worked together on the Good Neighbor Committee, dealing with the Stevens Creek Quarry, an assignment which we both found to be very demanding. Although it's taken years, you should feel great pride in the courts having supported the position held by the city and county and neighborhood, and to finally now, before you leave the council, see some progress made. You were instrumental in getting us there, and I am most appreciative. As one ancient philosopher said, there is nothing permanent except change. You have served as an architect of change for our city. In a letter to me at the time of your re-election, you stated, "I plan on making safety on our streets my first priority. I think the safety of pedestrians takes precedence over the convenience of motorists, and I will work to make that happen." Along with Ann, you co-founded the Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee, which has resulted in the improved trails and much safer roadways for pedestrians and cyclists in the city. The Courier article also stated that one of the reasons you ran for council in '93 was to reduce the growth outlined in the general plan. It is my personal hope, Don, that you, with your ongoing involvement within the community, you'll continue to serve as a mentor for the collaborative decision-making process that will need to occur for our revised general plan. At the age of 70, you have many bike paths left to explore. So just remember that contentment and well-being are a direction and not a place. When you see Nancy's to-do list, you will either pack your travel bags sooner for that tropical destination, or you'll purchase a bicycle built for two and take her on the road with you. We know that you'll have fewer conflicts with the theatrical and musical events that you both enjoy, and Steve and I will look forward to seeing more of you up at Montalvo. On a final note, I would like to welcome Sandy in her return to the council and to wish the same to Patrick and Dolly. You've already experienced that it's not always smooth sailing at the helm of the city and that you'll have big shoes to fill, but it's nice to know that you've got Don and other interested citizens cooperatively charting the course. Thanks again, Don. You're an uncommon man and an accomplished public servant. I appreciate it.
Don, I'm not so eloquent, but I want to say something short and sweet. You know, you're not a talker, you're a doer. And I've seen you interact with people, both adults and kids, and I'm always so impressed because in your face, there's something different. It's caring, it's true caring. I admire and respect you, and I just want to let you know that.
Hi, Don. I'm Joanne Leonard, the president of the Cupertino Chamber, and on behalf of the Chamber, I'd like to present you with a plaque. It says, "For dedicated community service and leadership as a member of the Cupertino City Council. Thank you for everything."
I'm Marilyn Howard. I was going to say we were old friends, and I was going to say we were the same age. Now everybody in the room knows how old I am, too. I guess it's wonderful. As we grow older, we do become mentors, and you certainly are that. Maybe I will be, too, someday. I just wanted to say I'm one of the few people that know Don since we were young. And I just wanted to quote myself from the Curry article. You are one of the good guys, and thanks for everything.
Good evening, Mark McKenna, Hanson Smith. Oh, I'm sorry, old habits die hard. But those are the issues I want to speak to. When I was younger, we were both younger, I guess, Don. You'd come out, I'd explain the process to you, you'd ask, how's that work? And as an engineer, you and I'd go off and we'd talk for 10, 15 minutes, and you go, oh, cool. When I'd take other people on that same little dissertation, they'd kind of look at me and go, huh? So it was really good working with an engineer that I could talk to and explain things to, and they'd understand that, sometimes things didn't have simple solutions. I really appreciated working for you, and I hope to work with you a little bit in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Hi, I'm Nancy. I just wanted to add something that I'm not sure all of you are aware of. Over the 8 years that Don has been on the council, he has missed exactly 3 council meetings. And one of them was last spring, but there were other meetings last spring when perhaps he should not have been here, but he's conscientious enough to know that you needed a quorum. And so we came over, and he sat there and did his council job. So I also wanted to tell you that last night we had a Fairgrove Neighbors meeting. And Don completely surprised me. The day before that, we'd had our 42nd wedding anniversary. And when I heard what he had to say last night, I couldn't believe that I'd been with him for 42 years and wouldn't expect. He volunteered to lead the block captain program for Fairgrove Neighbors. So he's already off on something else. And thank you, Don. It's going to be good to have you back more.
Don, would you like to come to the podium? Dave and I have some gifts for you. There are traditional gifts, and then there are gifts that we give. These are not traditional gifts. We wanted things that really mirrored who Don was to us. This is a gift to you, Don, from your city council, from those of us who have worked with you for a very long time. It kind of mirrors a gift that Dave gave to me when I was sworn in as mayor, and I liked it so much I thought maybe you would like something just like this to keep in memory. Open it, please.
All right.
If you didn't see that article, it was a great article, and it's a wonderful picture of Don. I also wanted to give you something just special from me. And I know I gave Wally a lot of funny things, but I got a different feeling about you, Don. And there's something in my State of the City address. I asked the crew to do a video. You may remember it. And when they were doing the video as the intro, I asked them to make sure that there was a picture or an activity from each of the council members. And the one that we had from you is the way I always picture you. And so what I wanted you to have was a copy of that for your office, for your home. Is that not Don? It's all dressed up on his bicycle for the 4th of July. That's definitely you.
Don, on behalf of the city employees, it's been an enormous pleasure to work with you. You are a wonderful council person, and it's we'll take care of it. But a real pleasure. You've represented by your actions and by your commitment that there is an alternative to the automobile. In fact, there are many, and you have supported all of those. You've done wonderful things in the regional area, and that was mentioned. And not everybody in the community sees that, but the impacts of your work in the regional area have results far beyond what you have done in the council, which has been significant. We have two, they're actually books, and as you might suspect, they relate to bicycles. So I hope that you will have even more time to spend doing those things. But your high integrity, your regional perspective, your work in the affordable housing, you're working to get the balance between housing and other land uses have had tremendous impact on the city and will continue to. If you don't have that particular volume, you may know all those trails already. This one is more for the coffee table, but I hope you enjoy that as well.
Hey, Don, now it's your turn. It's your turn.
Oh, golly. It's been a wonderful 8 years, and you know, I would like to reflect back the things that have been said about me onto my council members that I've served with over the years, and particularly with the three that are up there right now, because I think we have really had a tremendous symbiotic relationship where each of us has added our strengths and come up with good decisions for the community. And so thanks to you guys, and thanks also to all the council members I've served with as I've been on the council. Thanks to the staff. We have an excellent staff. People don't recognize how much work goes on to make Cupertino the place it is, from the fellows out mowing the lawns in the parks all the way up to Dave Knapp. And they all are dedicated and really give a lot for the people in the community. And the people in the community themselves. It's a wonderful community to serve, a community that supports sports fields and libraries and things. When the city has gone to the voters have come back strong. It's a city where we have tremendous diversity, and the diversity is turned out to be harmonious. Would that the whole world could learn to live together with diversity like Cupertino has. It's been a wonderful 8 years. Thank you all very much.
He's supposed to sit in the audience, but since I'm still the mayor for a few more minutes, I want him up here so he can stay for a bit. I'm going to try to do something very dangerous, and that's recognize some of the dignitaries in the audience, and in doing so, I am sure I'm going to miss some, especially since I have my glasses on. We have a lot here with us this evening, starting with Assemblywoman Elaine Alquist, who has asked to come and swear us in, and we are absolutely delighted. From Santa Clara, we have Councilmember Rod Dearden. He was hiding over here. There he is. The Sheriff's Department is out in force. I am absolutely delighted, and you'll probably meet them a little bit later, but I know we have Commander Miles and Commander Clifford. Where are you guys all hiding? And Captain Bacon. They'll come in a bit, I'm sure. You will come back in. Okay, they'll come back in a bit, and you'll meet them all. And Dennis is right here. Captain Bacon, he's essentially our fire chief. I mean, our police chief.
We're very safe here tonight.
And we have our Assistant Fire Chief, Ben Lopes. And also President of the Firefighters, Art Marshall. I know President Martha Cantor is here somewhere. Where's Martha? I saw her. There's President of De Anza College. And let me see, who else? Joanne Leonard, you met President of the Chamber of Commerce. Joanne's here. I know former Councilmember Barbara Rogers is here somewhere. And now I am sure that I have forgotten, I think Tien Ho, do I see Tien Ho sitting here, who is the Santa Clara County School Boards. Catherine Ho, I don't see Catherine. Where's Catherine? Catherine Fremont, there you are. Fremont High School Board. Did I get everyone? Okay, I think we'll try that one then. I get to turn this over to the Vice Mayor for a little bit. Let's just stay for a while.
Still
You get to be part of the next part.
We're not going to let you go that easily.
Yeah, we're attached to you.
Okay, so where are we here?
These are better chairs.
Well, it's a pleasure to do this next my next duty here. I don't know if Carl is here. I know Carl had to leave. Is Carl Gardino here somewhere? No. Okay. Well, maybe we'll see him later. We've had a year of leadership from Sandy, which has been an impressive year and a great year for me. A good year for me to learn how to do the job right. Sandy has been a great help to me. She got me mixed up in this business in the first place. She was the one that pressed me into running. And I'm glad she did most of the time, but certainly tonight. Sandy is unique, I think, in this council in her courage to work on issues that might be unpopular. She will take an issue that she knows the audience out here will be yelling and screaming about, and or maybe nobody will say anything about, and she'll stick with it until it's done. And I think most people know that that's especially true about issues with youth. We need to value youth, and you've all heard us talk about the current state of that, which is that youth in Cupertino don't feel valued by the community. But Sandy is determined to change that, and she's doing things to change that. And when she does them, she catches some flack, but that doesn't matter. Sandy is determined to make a difference for youth in our community. And it's not only youth. You'll see it, and she'll catch flack, and every time she just picks the ones where I think she's vulnerable to attack by Mr. DeCinzo, among others, but in particular. But for instance, for business, Sandy is the first council member to stand up for business, and it's not a popular thing. Business is an easy target for citizens to get upset about, for politicians to accuse of being the source of all evil. But as much as that would be easy votes for Sandy to join in that fray, and as much as a lot of politicians will do that, Sandy won't do it. She believes in the importance of business in our community. She knows they pay the bills. She knows they're good neighbors. They employ our youth. They employ everybody. And so she'll stand up for business, and she'll do it even though it makes her an easy target for a politician. And I'm proud to serve with somebody that will do that. And it's similar with public safety. Everybody's interested in public safety now. Why? Because we had a tragedy. We had a disaster. Now, people have taken up the cause of public safety. But I can guarantee you, for the last 4 years, every day, Sandy has thought about public safety. And to many of us, it's a boring topic, right? If you don't live it and you don't feel it, it's because it's working well and we feel safe. And these people that take on the job of public safety, it's when they take on the job that they give so much to us. And it's Sandy that always tells people about it, recognizes them, reminds the community that public safety is there for us. And it's not when they do some heroic act that matters. It's when they're here and we're safe that matters. And Sandy, you know, she's consistently there. It's not a way to get votes. It doesn't get you votes. How many times can the firemen vote? They could, you know, they're lucky if they can afford a house here so that they can vote here. And Sandy works on those issues too. So I'm proud to be associated with Sandy and proud to be associated with somebody that will stand up to a lot of disagreement. We've seen it, and we've seen recent cases of it, and we'll work through that and accomplish things for you. And so, Sandy, it's been a great pleasure, and I look forward to serving with you again.
Is it my turn?
Oh, yeah, that's my job, huh?
Okay.
I think it's your turn.
Talk out of order.
Michael?
Thank you, Richard. I was just thinking up here that I've served with Sandy for many, many years. Actually, I've been counting. If I'm not wrong, I've served with Sandy 8 years, actually. 4 years on school board and completing 4 years here on city council. And of those 8 years, contrary to the recent, I guess, disagreement we might have, I think those years have been marked by a lot of working together, a lot of mutual growth, and also working with each other on issues that are important to our youths, important to our city. Sandra is Sandra. She is very unique person, and she also likes to hold her ground too. And so I think that must be a trait of council members. She's some of her passions Richard has already mentioned. She's a strong advocate, for business, for public safety, and for youths. And she approached those with gusto, as we have seen here in this last year with her as mayor. And she has done a lot in those areas. And I respect her for the work that she has done and the accomplishments that she has made. And I want to congratulate her for being re-elected to Cupertino City Council, because she also is a very important representative of Cupertino.
Don, I don't imagine you have anything to say, do you?
Well, you folks have done a really very good job. I certainly agree with everything that's been said. It's been a pleasure working with Sandy this year. She's brought a sparkle to city government that is unique, as you say, and has recognized when there needs to be something done in the public arena, like the recent memorial service we had after the tragedy in New York. She picks these things up and takes care of them. It's been fun, and I'm glad she's going to be back with us for another 4 years. Congratulations on the re-election. And thanks for being so much fun to work with.
So, Dave, are we ready down here? Do you have?
You may want to take comments from the public.
Good idea. I'll get used to this.
That's why we have a city manager.
Thanks, Dave. So if there's somebody out there in the audience that has something they'd like to say about Sandy, step right up. No cards necessary. Speak your mind. It's your chance to be on TV.
Good evening. Let it never be said that Eleanor Montavani wouldn't be first at the podium. I had this great speech prepared to talk about Sandy, and y'all have stolen my thunder. So I'll keep it short. Sandy, it has been a pleasure working with you over the past umpty years in many, many roles: school board, business advocate, citizen. One thing that has struck me and strikes me more and more as I work with you is your unwavering integrity. It's a trite phrase, but without it, it's not worth it. Your energy, your stick-to-itiveness, we don't always agree on things. What I admire most about you, I think, in the last year has been your role as mayor of the entire community, without regard for age, national origin, cultural persuasion, business orientation. That is vital in a city like this, and I want to thank you. When my kids say, what's a city all about, what's a mayor all about, now that they've met you, they know. So, thanks again.
Sandy, Martha Cantor, president of De Anza College. Your year of mayorship has been an extraordinarily rich one. Not only is Sandy a leader in the education community, but in the government, civic, and business community. I think all of us in the audience understand the leadership you've provided for the city to really make the quality of life here at the top of everyone's agenda. And all of us have our differences, but Sandy is someone that has brought the community together in so many different ways, whether it's the middle college working with the high schools and the elementary schools, whether it's business working with the environmentalists, whether it's people in government working with people from nonprofits. Sandy is a person that crosses boundaries, and all of us appreciate your leadership as mayor. It's been a wonderful chance to get to know you as a friend to the college and as certainly a friend to the community and to all of us in the audience. So I look forward to the fact that you've been reelected for 4 more years. And I know with the new people coming on to the board and under Richard's year as mayor of Cupertino, we will have an extraordinary set of council members to work with. So thank you very, very much.
Good evening. Mayor James, City Council, Dave Knapp, Chuck Killian, city employees, and all of you. I'm Jerry Brager, and I'm a Cupertino inspector, city inspector. Mayor James, I'm here tonight to thank you for making a difference for all of us, and I'd like to explain all that. Mayor James I've been here 13 years, and Mayor James is probably the only city council member and mayor that I know of that has ever come to a city meeting, a department meeting, and came to us and said, and looked each and every one of us in the eyes and said, thank you for making a difference, for making my year so successful, for making me look good, for being and standing behind me. Mayor James, I'd like to take this time to thank you for making a difference to all of us employees, to all of the residents of Cupertino, because you have really made a big difference. Most people run for city council. They do really well in other cities. This council is unbelievable. But you in particular, at your night, you have really, truly made a difference. And I thank you very, very much. Thank you very much.
Mayor James, City Council members, I'm Jacqueline Fabre, Executive Director of Cupertino Community Services. Sandy, you have not only been an advocate of businesses, of youth issues, of safety, but you have also been a great supporter of the nonprofits, and you have been a great supporter of Cupertino Community Services. You have done so much for us in terms of affordable housing, shelter, food. You've not only worked within Cupertino, but you've also worked with other cities, county, to get resources for the people that we serve outside of Cupertino in the West Valley area. You have been just a phenomenal supporter. We're not fancy. We don't have flowers. What we have plenty of at Cupertino at this time of year is food, and I would like to present you with a bag of groceries, just a baguette here, a banana, but a can of soup, a very special can of soup, if I can get it out. It's CCS highest honor. It's our Golden Soup Award, and it's awarded to volunteers who have gone above and beyond the calls of duties, and Sandy, you so much deserve this. And for getting this, as the ingredients say in the soup, you have concern, caring, leadership, optimism, sincerity, generosity, commitment, enthusiasm, compassion, perspective, and most of all, you have a sense of humor. You need it in this position. Thank you so much, Sandy.
I'm Kathy Stakey, and I'm the chairperson of the Cupertino Library Commission. And I not only want to thank our Mayor James for her strong leadership in seeing us through with a project which we still have to complete. That's the construction of our new library, the biggest project ever undertaken in the city of Cupertino. And I know a lot of times we felt like things weren't getting done, voices weren't being heard, but it's because everybody took their time to make the good decisions, the right decisions. And as a library commission, we wanted to commend all of you, the entire city council, and tell you that we're really looking forward to smooth trails ahead and good working relationship with the future city council as well. But I do know that our mayor, I can tell you this, aside from comments with the library, I have been at meetings with her at 7:15 in the morning, and I have observed her sitting right there at 11:30 at night. Her energy level is always way up here. And I think that's a wonderful, wonderful thing for the community. So as a Library Commission, we thank you very much for the progress thus far, and we're looking forward to smooth trails ahead. Thank you very much.
Hello. Hello, my name is Chris Enright, and I'm here to just thank Sandra James for being a good mayor for our city. Thank you.
Hi, I am Aditya Ravi Kumar. I am also with Chris Enright, and I'm here to thank Sandra James for being a great mayor, and if I ever run for mayor, I would want to be one like you. Thank you.
Tough to top.
Hi, I'm Ben Lopes, Assistant Fire Chief, and I don't know that I can top that. I'd like to recognize our special association with Sandy through the years. Two examples of projects that that Sandy's been involved with our department are Operation Outreach, where we go out to the schools and talk to the youth about the consequences of drunk driving. Another project that's special in Cupertino has to do with the Cupertino Community Services affordable housing behind our fire station and the exchange of properties. But I will point out, it was brought to my attention that Sandy does have a shortcoming. And after the lead that we've seen in the media with America's mayor and the form of dress, it was brought to my attention that Sandy was seen in public with a baseball cap and perhaps other garments that didn't reflect her safety services. So at this time, I'd like to present Sandy with a county fire ball cap and a county fire sweatshirt.
Oh, look at
Dennis Bacon on behalf of the Sheriff's Department. On behalf of Sheriff Laurie Smith, I'm honored to be here today. Those two younger boys didn't get a hug, and they had a uniform on.
They ran away.
They ran away too fast. I'm honored to be here to welcome not only the new mayor into position and your vice mayor, Mr. Chang, and also the new council members, Mr. Kwok and Ms. Sandoval, but I'd also like to recognize again Mr. Burnett. Thank you. What better leadership can you have than to have somebody say that you're an example to everybody else, and we appreciate that very much. Also now I'd like to honor our leaving mayor, and that's Sandy James, for her years of service in the public service and safety. With us today are several members of the Sheriff's Department. Your commitment and dedication to building a safer community through the Fire Department, the Sheriff's Department, and through your city services is unprecedented. I can tell you that. I know that it took me years to get over here, and you were instrumental in getting me into this position, and I appreciate that very much, and I hope I can live up to your example and enthusiasm through that. These include things that you've done here for us and that we've worked together with, the Teen Academy, Teen Summit, First Annual Safe Kids Day, Cupertino Leadership, the recent First Annual Cops and Teens Forum, which we hope to continue in the future. Those are just a few of the things. And I'm confident that working together, those goals will continue to build the leadership of the future of Cupertino through those kids. I know you've received many awards and letters through the years, and from thanks of your tenure with the Sheriff's Department, including machine guns and everything. One of the things we'd like to do is thank you very much for your service to us, and we're going to miss your hugs unless Mr. Lowenthal? No, okay. Handshake, okay, I can live with that. And what we'd like to do is to present you with a hat from the Sheriff's Department, and we have just a short little resolution that she'll read to you, okay? In recognition of your continuous and valuable support of public safety to the community through program building for our youth and the safety of the community as a whole. Thank you very much. I now get my last hug from the mayor.
Betcha. No hat?
I feel like the Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, I have to push this thing way down. My name is Barbara Fielden, and up until last night, I was president of the Cupertino Union School District Board of Trustees. And I just want to say a few words to praise Sandy, who is one of the most energetic people I know, and one of the warmest people I know, for her efforts on behalf of children, not only as a school board member, which she was for 8 years, but as a mayor. She's worked to bring the school district and the city together, and we've had some controversial issues. She's facilitated meetings, she's initiated meetings, and she's brought us together to work on issues like traffic, which is a big issue, as we know, and facilities, as well as just generally the needs of all the kids. So we really appreciate it. The school district, I'm sure, appreciates it, and we're looking forward to another 4 years. Thank you.
Thanks for lowering the microphone for me, Barbara. I've known Sandy probably for a long time. I won't go back how far, but we started carpooling many years ago at San Jose State, and she was just as enthusiastic then about whatever she's doing as she is today. And Michael, to your point, she was just as stubborn then as she is now. She'd get on a point and we'd have to listen to it all the way to school. Nobody else could talk. Yeah. But that was Sandy. And
I don't remember that at all.
That's because you weren't talking. Anyway, that's not why I'm here. We were reacquainted maybe 15 years ago when I moved back to the area, and Sandy was running for the school board, and she was committed to education at that time. And that's really why I'm here, to thank you on behalf of the Cupertino Education Endowment Foundation and all you've done for us, all you've done for education and the youth of our community. You've helped the Education Endowment Foundation, you've helped us raise money. You've participated in our fundraising events. You've even helped on the golf tournament several years, and you don't even play golf. I wish I could teach you to play golf so somebody would be worse than I am. You know. Anyway, those are the things that you've done that we really appreciate, and on behalf of the Cupertino Education Endowment Foundation, and for all the things you've done for our community, and as a friend, I'd just like to say thank you.
Hi, Sandy. I'm Joanne Leonard, the president of the Chamber, and I'd like to thank you for being a friend of business and of the Chamber. The Cupertino Chamber of Commerce is proud to be actively associated with the city on a number of endeavors this past year, and thanks to your help. We did a number of different meetings. We had the State of the City Luncheon. We had the Leadership Cupertino program. We have the Economic Development Committee. You helped us with the Art and Wine, the city's great support on that, and you helped us with our first annual Star Awards, which is the awards that we give to businesses and to the citizens of the year. We look forward to working with the city on many future events, and I'd like to give you two things. One of them is very special. One of the things that I started at the Chamber was the 110% Club, and it's for those individuals who give 110% effort to the help for the city and for the Chamber. And so I have a very special pin for you that I'd like to put on you. And I also have our plaque, which says, the Cupertino Chamber of Commerce, your partner in Silicon Valley, Certificate of Recognition presented to Sandra James for dedicated community leadership and support of business as mayor of the city of Cupertino. That's for you, but this is special for you.
That's too tough.
No. I'm probably one of the few people you can say that to. Just don't want to pin you. Thank you for 110%.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Sandra James, our City Council, Don Burnett, Michael Chang, and Richard Lowenthal, and our future City Council, Dolly, Sandoval, and Mr. Kwok, and the other member of the community. First of all, I would like to congratulate and welcome our new future mayor in a few minutes. And welcome the new and returning member of the Cupertino City Council. My name is Fariba Nejad, and I am president of the Iranian Federated Women's Club and Payvan Cultural School. And I'm here tonight with a group of our members, our students, and they are here with your support. And for those of you who may not know that what we are doing, our organization dedicated to providing educational services to all ages of the Iranian American community in the Bay Area. The Payvan Cultural School was created to teach and educate the community about Iranian American culture, history, and tradition. As a president and member of the community, I would like, first of all, to thank Mayor Sandra James for all her wonderful support and help in making our organization successful. I look forward to continuing to work together as she assumes her new role as a Cupertino City Councilwoman. I would also like to thank Don Burnett, who was my mentor from the day one. He was the first mayor that we invited him to our event, and he accepted for our Iranian community. That was a big move, and thank you very much. And for their believing in us, in our mission, and bringing unity, understanding, and acceptance for all culture in our community. I turn now to the future, where I look forward to forging new bonds across and within our community, working more closely than ever with our new mayor, and first of all, hope for long-lasting friendship. I look forward to working closely with our future mayor, with Ms. Sandra James, and with our new city council people. Because of your effort, we are a stronger community, and I wish you all great success. Thank you again.
Good evening. My name is Mary Ellen Chell, and I'm pleased to say that I'm here tonight just as a Cupertino resident. It's nice not to have to be here begging for money for some project. I'd like to thank Don Burnett for his tremendous effort in this city. Don, you have been an advocate for affordable housing for years and years, and I thank you for that. And also, now that I'm cycling, for all the work you've done to provide these great trails for us. It's really wonderful. But I want to thank Sandy James tonight for all the ways that she represents the various voices in our community. Sandy provides a voice for the disenfranchised in our community, the elderly, the disabled, our youth especially, the needy, but also for the other segments, as you've heard, business and safety. But I'd like to thank you, Sandy, for your vision for this city, for standing up for your vision, for your tremendous enthusiasm that you bring to your work, and for your incredible energy. As Kathy Stakey said, you'll see Sandy up at Hobie's at 7 o'clock in the morning at a breakfast meeting, and she'll be at another meeting at night till 11:30 or 12 o'clock. And I don't know where you get it. Must be those energy blends. But I think the thing that is most important that I see that shines in you is the heart and soul that you bring to your work. And I think that that's something that is so rare and unique and special. And I value that so much in being able to see that in our city government, and that you are the channel for that grace in our community. And I thank you for that.
I'm running out of space up here.
The last but not least, I'm Lucia Wu, chairperson of the Moon Festival. I want to thank you, Sandy, for being involved in our Moon Festival this year. Sandy has dressed in traditional Chinese costume to be our bride, and she used the traditional way to find a groom for herself. And she did the traditional ritual on stage, kowtow, 6 times on stage, which shows the highest respect to the Asian communities. And I want to thank you for your involvement and to pray with us. And I'm looking forward next year with your involvement, even though you don't run for an office. Okay? I don't have anything to give you, so I guess I don't have a heart from you. But thank you for teaching us to say I love you. Okay?
Thank you. See you.
Don, Michael, Richard, Sandy, I'm very pleased to stand up here, to stand up for my very good friend, Sandra James, and to commend her on the excellent job, Sandy, that you have done as mayor of Cupertino. We met many years ago during my last term on the Cupertino School Board. In fact, my last time as board president, Cupertino School District Board President, was your first year on the board. And I made it a point every other week to call every single member and spend half hour, 45 minutes on the phone with them talking about the agenda and issues. And from day one, Sandy, you really impressed me with your great integrity, with your persistence, and also with your ability to want to learn more about the issues and your desire to be a really good school board member. And I really valued that, because in local government, it really needs to be nonpartisan, and school boards, city councils, board of supervisors, we are there in those positions to represent all of the people. In fact, at the state level, we are there to represent and make good decisions for all of the people. And I want to keep this fairly short since so many people have spoken, but I would like to talk about one thing, and that is that I called Sandy on the phone. I lose track of time, but might have been 5 or 6 months ago, maybe not quite that long, and I said, Sandy, I have this controversial bill that I'm carrying, and it's a bill that would change the way the admissibility of evidence when the statute of limitation has expired in child molestation and rape cases. And I said, the tough part is getting it through Public Safety Committee. And I got it through the Assembly, and it was looking very doubtful in getting it through the Senate Public Safety Committee. So I said, Sandy, I really need you to come up. And without hesitating 1 second, Sandy said, I'll be there for you. And Sandy helped convince those senators on the Senate Public Safety Committee, and every one of them voted for that bill. And we got it off the Senate floor, and we got it to the governor, and Governor Davis signed it. And so there are many times in life when we need good women to stand strong, and you are certainly one of them. I know you have a great city council, and Don, I give you my best, and I've appreciated knowing you and the things that you've worked on in the years. And Sandy, you have new council members coming on, and although they also have good experiences, I hope that they also will learn from you and from Richard and from Michael. And I wish you all the very best in all your endeavors.
Oh, my goodness, before this lady speaks, I'm going to warn you. This is my speech and debate teacher in high school. She's responsible for all the talking I do.
It's true. I came clear across, I was out of state, just to see you tonight, and the police escorted me in. They were charming. They saw this poor little aged lady and thought, we'll help you. And I said, I was her teacher at one time. No, I am so proud of you. And as the former department chair of the Fremont High School English program, and as the national president of all the high schools in the nation in speech, I can brag about a lot of them. I have many students that are present judges now, including the out of New York, the mayor's wife, Donna Hanover, is one of mine. But Sandy has been outstanding. She did outstanding in debate, outstanding in extemporaneous speaking, as you can tell, many times on TV, because I listen, and I heard the meeting the other night and all the rest. But I'm very careful what I comment on.
Wise.
But I am very, very proud of you. And I want to thank the people that let me squeeze in and through all those mobs out there, because I watched it as I could coming through and the rest to see and outside on television, hoping I'd have a chance to say, it's very nice to be a teacher and to look out in the field and say, hey, I have that one, I've had that one. As I look around, I see a few more I've had too. Thank you again for all you've done for the community and, of course, the rest of the council. I live in Cupertino. Thank you.
Hey, Sandy, I think we have a few more things. I don't know where we're going to put them, but we do have a few more things to give you, so maybe you could step down to the microphone again. We'll do it there.
Flowers.
Face is good. Well, Sandy, there's one thing that I don't like about this evening, which is that it sets such a high standard. We can both stand on the same level here. We're about the same height, which has been a really nice thing about working with Sandy. I've found somebody a height compatible with me. But all these things that you've heard tonight, they're all true, and they all set a standard for us to live up to, which will be difficult. But I will try, and I'll try to make you proud of me as I am of you. We have the traditional gift here, honoring your leadership. I know you'll try to pull this off and run the meetings, but if you just ask, I'll let you use the gavel up there. So this is a gavel, Sandra James, Mayor of Cupertino, 2000-2001. Thank you,
Very
Sandra.
nice. Thank you.
Yeah, this one.
I like that.
Okay, you get to open this one.
Ooh, I love presents. Ooh. This is from you?
You see, because you appreciate them so much, you get more. So that's good. So this is from the staff and council.
This is from the staff. Ooh, really need one of these. This is beautiful. Look at this. Is that gorgeous? My initials on it.
Now, this was, with all due apologies to Mike Folks, Sandy has been going around for the last, about 2 years carrying an Apple portfolio. She is proud of the businesses in Cupertino, but we thought we could still kind of update a little bit here. So,
It was a freebie.
and you're right. And Mike, if you want to stick an apple on that, I'm sure she'd be happy to have it.
This is beautiful. Thank you. It's gorgeous.
You're welcome.
Very nice.
Sandy, I don't think people will be able to get the benefit of seeing this. Maybe the cameras are very good, but what what I wanted to capture, this was my idea, I wanted to capture how much can be done in a year by someone who puts the energy in, the focus in, the determination to get things done. So on here, you'll see things like our new city center. You'll see a new, beautiful senior center. You'll see youth in sports. You'll see youth being honored. You'll see Hobie's Restaurant. Our satellite office at Hobie's Restaurant. You'll see us at the groundbreaking for CCS, just a wonderful accomplishment. The list of accomplishments, you can't fit them on here, so they're little tiny things. They look like negatives, they're small. And a picture of you here in your leadership position and the way we think of you as our great leader.
Wonderful.
You're welcome.
Can I hug him, Ellen?
Yeah. Close your eyes.
Oh, this is wonderful. Everybody has to look at this later tonight. This is absolutely beautiful. Hobie, this here, Michael. Oh, that's wonderful.
And finally, a personal, from the Lowenthal family, we got you some flowers. Now, the interesting story, always an interesting story when you're working with Sandy. I went to get these flowers at a business in Cupertino, which is, Sandy's got a little rule about that. So I went to Cupertino Florist to buy some flowers, and I don't know the right thing, you know. Red roses might mean romance. I don't want to give the wrong signal here. So I asked her, like, oh, she said, I know Sandra. I know what she likes. I'll put it together. Just wait 20 minutes. So, of course, the people there all know you, all knew which flowers you like and what colors and what types, so it made the job easy for me. And so what goes around comes around. Sandy?
Ah, that's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Dave, you have something?
And on behalf of all the city employees, we have a gift for you. And to tell you that this, on behalf of all the city employees, this has been a very exciting 12 months. Where you have heard about the boundless energy, and of course, going with that boundless energy is an absolute commitment to what's going on. But in terms of boundless energy, I'm reminded of a story I heard when I first came, didn't fully understand right away, but after 2 weeks I did. And the story was that our current mayor went to visit the city manager, my predecessor, and was in having coffee in his office and moving around a lot and talking and with many ideas streaming on forward. And she said, isn't there any sugar? And she stuck her head out of the door and said, can somebody bring me some sugar? And the city manager followed around a meeting and said, no sugar.
True story.
But we would like you to have this. Thank you very much for all that you've done for the community.
This is from the staff.
From the staff.
This is from the staff. Ooh, this is very pretty. Oh, very nice. This is a Kwok. City of Cupertino, Sandra James, Mayor, 2000-2001. Goes with that.
You may have something to say.
Yeah, I do. Can I go up there and say it?
Sure. You're still mayor. You can go anywhere you want. It's your house.
I have to sit down. Boy. You guys have achieved two things that's very difficult to do to me. One is I'm practically speechless. Practically is an operative word here, but I am really just almost at a loss of words, Carmondale. I will. And secondly, it's fascinating to me as we pass through life, and all of us are challenged in many ways, that for me anyway, it is much easier to stand up to abuse, criticism, anger, fear, all of the above, with dignity and passion and strength, look it in the face and stare it down and move on. But when you are nice to me, and you tell me you love me. Wow, that's really hard to handle, and that's when the tears come. You guys are incredible. The things you said are very special, heartfelt, and extremely meaningful to me. The young people, especially you Boy Scouts back there, thank you for coming. You have no idea how much that meant to me tonight and what a difference that makes in my life. I do love this job. It doesn't pay well. And you can't do it for the money because it isn't there. You do it because something reaches out to you. Something reaches out to me. I, don't seem to have a lot to say about it. I have to follow it. And it always amazes me every 4 years. This is the end of my 12th year in public service, public office. And every 4 years when I'm up for election, those of you that work with me know that's true. I'm always astounded that you elect me again. It's kind of like a revelation, because I never thought I'd be doing this. And it isn't an aspiration I personally had. It's somebody else's who's running things up there. Tonight was very special to me. I think there's a lesson in it. And since I have that educational bend to me, particularly to the young people, but maybe more so to those of us who aren't so young anymore. I think the answer is you reach out to people in many ways, through words, through actions, with passion, with compassion, with anger, resentment. But I think the way you really reach them is when you reach out to their hearts and you touch their souls. And you certainly did that here this evening, and I thank you very, very much. You guys are wonderful. Thanks a lot. I'm still in charge. Don, you may now sit down in the audience. Okay, we have, I guess, 2 more people who came in who we would like to acknowledge. San Jose City Councilwoman Cindy Chavez is here somewhere. I saw Cindy earlier today. And Executive Director of the Central Labor Council, AFL-CIO, Amy Dean is here also. So we'd like to welcome them this evening. Now we come to the serious part. And this is the oath of office for the newly elected and re-elected council members. And Assemblywoman Alquist has asked, we did not go and ask her, she came and asked us if she could come and administer this oath. And I want you to know that in the history of Cupertino, this is the first time that anyone other than our city clerk, who is very competent and does a very good job, trust me on that, has wanted to administer the oath. And so we are absolutely honored to have Elaine Alquist here. And Kim, do you want to orchestrate this for us as to what order or how you want? I'm first?
Yes, you're first.
We are going to say the words, right, Elaine, not just the I do part? I like the words. Thank you.
Find the black line.
This one's yours.
This will be your microphone.
Thank you very much.
Raise your right hand.
Ooh,
I'll say I and then you say your name.
I, Sandra James,
do solemnly swear to support and defend
do solemnly swear to support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and to the Constitution of the State of California,
and to the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
upon
which I am about to enter
the
city of Cupertino.
for the city of Cupertino.
And
Councilmember,
Dolly's
Councilmember
next?
Kwok, I believe.
Oh, whichever.
almost Councilmember Kwok.
Who's next? Okay. Patrick's next.
I, Patrick Kwok,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to support and defend
to support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the constitutions of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the constitutions of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
to
the Constitution of the United States
to the constitutions of the United States
and to the Constitution of the State of California,
and to the constitutions of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duty
upon which I am about to enter for the city of Cupertino.
for the city of Cupertino.
Other end. John, of course.
Down?
Yeah.
I
I, Dolly Sandoval,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to support and defend
to support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
and
allegiance
allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States,
to the Constitution of the United States,
to the Constitution of the State of California,
to the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
reservation
or purpose of evasion,
and
that I will well
and
faithfully discharge
the
duties upon which I am about to enter
for
the city of Cupertino.
for the city of Cupertino.
Thank you very much, Assemblywoman Alquist. I'm now going to open the nominations for mayor.
Would like to move Councilmember Richard Lowenthal for mayor.
Do I have a second?
I'd like to second that.
Please vote.
Okay. Come on, no tricks here.
Motion carries unanimously.
All right.
Well, that was easy. Thank you very much. I appreciate the applause. That was the easy part. Well, I guess I'm mayor. I've been almost mayor for a very long time, so it's going to take a little getting used to. It was, I was introduced. It was 4 hours, well, a few hours more than that now, 6 hours ago, and as the almost mayor, and I said, 4 hours, but who's counting? I'd like to open nominations for vice mayor. May I have a motion?
I'll move to nominate Dr. Michael Chang to be the vice mayor.
And a second?
I will second that.
Please vote.
Motion carries unanimously.
Congratulations, Michael. Again.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so now we're going to do this one. You're going to do the...
Would you like to do the oath? Oh, great.
Great.
Yes. Assemblywoman Alquist will give you your oath, and we'll do Mayor Lowenthal first.
Mayor Lowenthal. Thank you. See if I can remember my name and the name part. I, Richard Lowenthal,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to support and defend
to support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States,
to the Constitution of the United States,
to the Constitution of the State of California,
and to the Constitution of the State of California,
that I will take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
and
that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties
upon
which I am about to enter for the city of Cupertino.
Thanks very much.
Now, Vice Mayor Chang.
I think so too. I'm excited.
I,
Michael Chang,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to support and defend
the
Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United
the
States
Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that
I will bear true faith
and
allegiance
allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States,
to the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of
to
California,
the Constitution of the States of California,
that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter for the city of Cupertino.
Okay, now comes this comedy part where we try to figure out where we're supposed to sit, so bear with us for a moment. Take your own water.
Let's see.
Notes.
Whoops.
Hey, I already have all my gifts.
I think you're.
Save a lot of trouble.
I think you're perfect.
Do you want to do those now? I don't. I think Dave Knapp said I'm fine. You're second. Let's put it all on there.
I think you are
And sunglasses. Glasses.
James. Yeah, right. You're in my seat, Patrick.
Gives everybody a little break from all the talk.
Good to go.
Okay, now we come to a period of the council members saying something about each other. So we'll try to be brief, but we're not good at that. So let's start with Sandy.
Gee.
On the spot.
Seems like I've had a lot to say. Well, first of all, I want to congratulate Richard on becoming mayor. You know, there's a lot of people have asked me the last few weeks how I feel about stepping down as mayor. Am I going to miss it? Am I sad? Is it difficult going from being a mayor to a council person? It's very easy for me to say no, absolutely not, because there is a supreme comfort level in turning the reins over to Richard Lowenthal.
Thank you very much.
I have worked with Richard for 2 years now, very intensely, and he's right. I think I was the first person who encouraged him to run. And I've come to admire him, trust him, which is very, very important with people that you work with at this level, at any level for that matter. Admire his tenacity, his seriousness, his thoroughness. He's always prepared. He works hard, and he takes this job very seriously. We don't always agree. There are really not all that many things we don't agree on, but there are some. There's one coming up. We both know it, and we'll still be on the other sides, and that's okay. We'll argue the cause. We'll both have our say. We'll take the vote, and we'll get on with it, because that's what you're supposed to do. That's what professionals do. I think Richard is going to be a fine, fine mayor. He's going to do it in his own style, and it's going to be fun to watch. And I am delighted to kind of step down, sit back, and let you do it, Richard. So congratulations. I also want to take a moment, since I was just sworn in again, to acknowledge all the people in this room and the people watching that helped me in my campaign. And there are too many to mention, so I'm not going to try that one at all. But I am going to take a moment to introduce my family. And I'm one of the lucky people who kind of gets to pick her family. And my son, Justin, whom I am very, very, very proud of, is here tonight, even though he has midterms, and he's probably panicked because he needs to rush right back to Danza. But I am just delighted, and I will tell you, this young man gives up a lot so that I can do what I do for this community. And so he is a big part of anything I have accomplished. And thank you for coming, Justin. My very, very best friend in the whole wide world, Michael Lashen. You all know him. Michael is my family, and he's always here for me. My other very special friend, Steve Taylor. Steve, family also. And my adopted and special sister, the fourth part of my family, Mary Ellen Chow. Thank you all for being here this evening. You're very special to me, and thank everybody who worked hard on this campaign.
Michael, you've got a lot of experience with this. Why don't you go on next?
Okay, thank you very much, Mayor Lowenthal. First of all, I really do want to congratulate our Mayor, Richard Lowenthal, for becoming our mayor. He really has a great care for the city. He has a lot of vision. He has a lot of also energy. And I think that he will just do a superb job as mayor. The years that he has been on council, working with him, he has always helped us think outside the box, always come up with workable solutions to issues. He's also not afraid to take tough positions. He is an extremely resourceful, extremely committed leader, and I know that the city is in great hands this year with him as mayor. Congratulations, Richard.
Thank you very much.
I just want to also congratulate again Sandra for being reelected to council. I also want to welcome the 2 new council members. I think our city is so blessed to have 2 persons that are so experienced in government to join the council. Dolly Sandoval, of course, have served with distinction in the Foothill De Anza College Board, where I work at De Anza. So it's a real blessing to have her on that board for the 2 terms, I think, close to 2.5 terms that she has been on that board. And she has really done an excellent job for the school district, kept us financially sound, made education a priority in our colleges, and really made so many important decisions for our school district. And I know that on City Council, she will also be a leader here on our council. And then also Patrick Kwok, having served in government for 30 years and working as a senior administrator in our friendly city of San Jose nearby. He brings with us a huge store of knowledge and expertise that we don't always have on a council level. And I think that he will also, and with Dolly and everybody else, will be a co-equal of our council. And I think our council will be in great shape, kicking off and just running with it from day one. And also, Don Burnett, I still miss you a lot.
Do you have something to say, Patrick, for us tonight?
Yeah, first of all, I want to congratulate Mayor Richard Lowenthal. The city is in good hand. I know Richard dated back about 4 years ago when Richard and I took the leadership of Cupertino under the director of Darrell Stowe. And at that time, we had a lot of things in common, and we have a lot of things in differences. But I think he has impressed me at that time to be the true leader. Especially the last sessions we had, we were in City Hall, talk about debating the pros and cons about the big project, the highest building in Cupertino, and what are the pros and cons. And I think Richard took the lead in representing our group, the pros for the project. So he's in that. No doubt that he has really demonstrated as a very strong leadership. In my last year as serving as chair of the Cupertino Planning Commission, I also served with Richard on the Environmental Review Committee. And he's very dedicated to his work. And when we have any projects that came in front of the Environmental Committee, the first thing that we'll ask is that how does it impact Cupertino, the hillside development, and the open space. So he has impressed me that he is very knowledgeable about different issues. And I think that I also want to congratulate Don Burnett for having done a great job with the city. And Michael mentioned that, we bring in, Dolly and I brought in a lot of experience, but Don, it's a big shoes to fill. I hope that you will stay behind as a mentor for Dolly and I and the rest of the city council. And you have demonstrated a true leader and very strong commitment to the city. Sandy, I want to congratulate you for being elected and being a wonderful mayor last year, and hope that we can work well together. And Dolly, I just want to congratulate you for joining the City Council, and we're looking for a good year that we can bring some new ideas and work with the experienced ideas from the current City Council. And Michael, once again, you have been my mentor. And I really respect your knowledge and your leadership in the City Council. I also want to acknowledge my families. My wife Susan sitting in there, and my son Ken flew all the way from Los Angeles, and my daughter Patty, and her husband Robert, and Karen, my daughter, and her husband Derek, and Claudia and her husband Eric, and Candace and Stacy's, and most important, my grandchildren, Melanie, Stevens, and Andrews. Wow. Did I miss any? They have greatly all these years tremendous support, especially during my campaign to be elected to the City Council. But most important, all those people who came in today to show support of the new councils and say farewell to Don Burnett. and all those people who support me in my campaign, the volunteers, to spend a lot of hours in my campaign. But most of all, special thanks and appreciations to the citizens of Cupertino who have shown faith in me, and I will be facing up to a big challenge and looking forward with the new council. Thank you very much for your support.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Patrick. Dolly, you have something to say for us?
Just a couple of moments, I think. First, like the rest of the current council, Don, thank you for all your time and energy and commitment. And Nancy, thank you too, because it does take a family to make sure that those of us who are elected public servants and serve in the community, it takes the support of a family. So I thank you, Nancy, personally. I would like to thank the citizens of Cupertino for giving their trust, for the trust you have placed in me. The opportunity to serve you is indeed an honor. I've been doing so now for 11 years on the Foothill De Anza board, and I am very anxiously awaiting to serve you just as hard and with just as much tenacity as I have at Foothill De Anza. For more than 200 years, our American system of democracy and democratic governance has proven that it really is the best government we have in the world. And here in Cupertino, with the diversity that we have, we truly have the best city in the world. We have people out here this evening of all different nationalities, whether you're Caucasian, Chinese, Japanese, Latino, Persians, Indo-Americans. We all make up a very fine fabric that serves this city. Whether you come from a background of business or education, environmental activists, or many of the other folks that make up our city, we work together, and we work together to make sure that we have quality schools, a place to live, an excellent quality of life. And those challenges yet that we will need to face over the next 4 years will be many. It will really test our community to make sure that we really do come together time and time again to meet the challenges, to continue the quality of life that we have here. I would like to thank my colleagues at Foothill De Anza, and Mary Mason, one of the trustees there, had to leave earlier. But it's been a great district to serve, and I look forward to continuing that type of service here at the City Council. Richard, I wish you well as mayor, and I'm looking forward to working with you and Michael as vice mayor, also my colleagues Sandy and Patrick. And one thing that I'd like to do for just a moment is introduce my family. Both my parents are here, one of my four sisters. Well, I have 4 brothers and sisters, but only my sister is here this evening. And my husband, Ed, who's really been the support in my family. So thank you. Thank the community. I look forward to serving with you, serving for you, and working for you over the next 4 years.
Thank you, Dolly, very much. Now you got the long one coming up here. I've got a lot to say, which is trouble for you. First, kind of a funny thing happened yesterday. I was here talking to some Boy Scouts, talking about City Hall and what we do here, and they can come and speak here anytime they want. And actually, they had a good idea about how to improve the lighting system here. I told them to write it on a card, and we'd look at it. But at the end of it, one of them said, "Could he come to my indictment tonight?" and I said, "I hope not." But it was a pretty good joke. And one other little joke before I get going. I can't resist it. It was this was told to me by Phil Johnson, one of our predecessing mayors. He asked me when I first talked to him, he says, "You know what the definition of politics is?" And we've got a great example of it here tonight. And I said, "No." He says, "It's a Latin word." He says, "Poly means many." He says, "Ticks means blood-sucking insects." So here we are. Tonight, we say goodbye to a great friend, Don Burnett. And we've already said all that, but it can't be overdone. He's been great for the city, 8 years of service. a ton of accomplishments. Plus, I think we've all grown from being associated with Don. So, Don, goodbye, but I'll bet you'll be out here and talking over there and telling us about housing and bicycles. We have some new friends here tonight in Dolly and Patrick, and I welcome them. I'm excited to serve with them, and I think we'll do a great job. We also have, some of you know, some of you don't, 1,000 new residents in Cupertino. We have 1,000 people that wanted to join us, be part of our city, and served by us, and I'm honored by that. And welcome to the people that live in Garden Gate, and we expect to show you it was a good decision to vote for annexation. I want to offer congratulations on a really nicely run campaign, a clean campaign. Cupertino prides itself on clean politics. We had another election where we didn't talk about other candidates. That's kind of, if we have a secret among us, our secret is that when we run for office, we don't talk about the other candidates. Because what are you going to say? You're not going to say, vote for them, not me. So anything else you'd say would not be flattering, most likely. And in fact, all 6 people that ran for office kept to that great tradition of not doing any negative campaigning and not talking about others. And we owe them some thanks for having a really nice election that keeps us all friends. Dolly used the word that I think is the most appropriate word for a person sitting up here, and that's the feeling of honor. I feel honored to be here. I feel honored to be elected and all the nice things said about me. It puts a big responsibility on us to live up to that, but I can't tell you how much it means to me to have the support of the community and of my colleagues here, and I will do my best. I want to thank my family here, especially my wife Ellen and my kids Lindsay and Kimmy. They give a lot to this effort, and it's been mentioned a couple of times, but I am very rarely home at either 7 o'clock. Mm-hmm. The 7 o'clock in the morning is when the meetings seem to start. There's a lot of them then. I get a little free time in midday, and virtually every night I'm at a meeting at 7 o'clock at night, and I'm no different than the other council members. The families give a lot. They don't see us much in the evening, and I try to squeak in some hope for help for Lindsay with math homework, because that's my specialty. But even that's difficult because I'm gone a lot, and I thank you for bearing with it. Thank my family. My mom and dad are here tonight, and I'm glad you're here, and that means a lot to me. And I know it's a big effort to come down from Marin County. I think, for the first time, maybe my dad caught a bug from me because he's been visiting down here at our Rotary Club. He has had perfect attendance over the last 6 meetings and joined the Rotary Club of Cupertino today, living in Mill Valley and commuting 3 hours to go to the meetings. He volunteered both days at Oktoberfest, driving down and back both days to help at Oktoberfest. So I'm proud of my dad, and he started me on this community service business, and he's still in it. I want to reach back a little bit and thank my election committee. I'm not going to go by name, but I appreciate you made it possible for me to be here. We need to thank the great council we had over the last 2 years. One person we haven't mentioned is John Statton, but John was an important member of the council for the first year that I served here. He was a lot of fun. He brought a lot of humor to the council. I think we all need to work at that. It's a lot more fun to have a little humor up here and tell a joke occasionally and answer questions in funny ways. And when they call the roll, maybe saying yo, or what was his thing? Ready to roll, I think, something like that. But John was good at that. And he also taught me how to run for office, and he did a great job. I want to say that I've really appreciated working with my colleagues over the last 2 years. Michael is now our senior member. Michael's been a council member here for 6 years, has done a great job. He is fair, he's persistent, and he reminds us that our job is to represent everybody in Cupertino, and that's a very important lesson and something we can forget. We can get caught up in our own issues, in the ones that we hear the loudest, but Michael has always been here to remember the breadth of people that we need to represent. Sandy, we've talked about it. She got me into this trouble. She's been a fine mayor. She sets a work ethic for us all to live up to. You really do have to go to all those committee meetings. I don't know if you know, but over the last couple of days, I've worked on our assignments. We have 43 committees that we have to serve on. Sandy goes. And we're embarrassed if we don't live up to Sandy's work ethic, and so we go, and it keeps us being responsible members of the council. Don, we've talked about, there's nothing more to say. I'll try to fill your shoes on housing and alternative transportation. I think we owe you that as a legacy, Don, and I will do my best to keep that up. I want to appreciate our staff. We have a great staff. We don't do any work up here, you know. All we do is make decisions. These poor guys have to do all the work. But Dave, your leadership has been great. You filled some big shoes. You came in here and hired a lot of new people, and without skipping a beat, the city kept on running, and there was not one problem in that transition. And I just, I'm so happy that you're here, and really excited to be able to work with you as mayor. And Chuck, you've kept us out of trouble so far. You give great advice. Chuck is our city attorney. I rely on Chuck, and I call him Chuck is always helpful, doesn't cloud it in so many words that I can't understand what he's talking about. He speaks clearly and keeps us honest. We have great directors in Carol Atwood, Ralph Qualls, Kim Smith. Really, she's another one that keeps us out of trouble. There's a myriad number of restrictions and policies put on us to be honest and not have our secret meetings and to report all our financial dealings and all that. And it's Kim that keeps us out of jail. So we really appreciate it, Kim. And she does it in a friendly way. I don't know if Linda is here. Linda's our secretary. We dump a lot on Linda. And Linda is serving hors d'oeuvres out here if I quit talking. But, you know, she gives a ton to the city. And any of you that have been out there in business know that the key person in any organization is the assistant. And Linda is a great assistant. And I want to take a minute to thank our commissioners. I don't know if you know it. I don't know how many. We have a ton of commissions, probably 150 volunteers out there that help us run the city. They provide us with the advice that we need to make good decisions. They do it on a volunteer basis, just like I sacrifice a lot of my personal time and inconvenience my family, they do too. I want to also mention and appreciate the people that ran and didn't win a seat in this election. Orrin Mahoney, Jeff Patno, and Bob Levy. They also ran great elections. I think they would have all been great council members. They are fine people that want to serve us. I'm sure they will find other ways to serve us. I hope they do, and we keep them involved. And like my fellow council members here, they ran a really fine campaign, and such that we all want to work together again. So my hat's off to them. You know, Bob Levy, I think, never really expected to win a seat. But he's not the kind of guy that will complain and not do his part to solve the problem. And so he ran for office. And he ran for office because he believed in an issue and didn't want to be just the guy that harps at us. And I think that we owe him a lot of respect. I'm very excited about working with my new council. I'm excited about this job. I'm pumped. It's just it's an honor, and it's exciting, and I'm looking forward to the year. And there are a lot of people that are telling me that I should be scared because of the issue last week with the teen thing or whatever, or two women on the council. You know, that's a comment. You know, I think it's going to be great. I'm just so excited to work, and I'm so excited to be with these people every day and work on the issues of the city. I'm not scared at all. I think it's going to be thrilling, and I'm pumped. It'll be challenging and exciting and all that, but I'm going to do a very brief state of the city thing here. We have some challenges. The economy, I think, is the number one challenge. It's a risk for us. We are very dependent on sales tax. We need you to go out there and buy things in Cupertino. Go over to the Chevy dealer and buy yourself a new Chevy or a new van or something. The economy is a serious issue. We need to keep our eyes on it. Housing. Housing is a persistent issue here. Just because it's a difficult one doesn't mean we don't have to work on it. It's a very important issue. And the issue is simple as this. People that work here ought to be able to live here. And the council needs to work on that issue, and we will. Tall buildings. There are people here that don't like tall buildings. And hey, they've got their point, and they're probably right. We don't want to change the character of the city. We want to improve the city, but we don't want to change the character of it. People like it here. You came here because you like it here, so we don't want a lot of tall buildings. Communication, we've heard, and it's a perpetual issue. Everybody says, we want better communication with the city. We are determined to provide that. Traffic around schools, that's Bob's big issue. We will continue to chip away at it. It's a difficult problem. I am very gratified to see that the schools are working on it. In fact, I saw some memos the other day between the school districts coordinating their start time so that they don't have this big crunch. It's great to see the schools take this issue on in a cooperative fashion, and we need to do our part too. Community. The city of Cupertino, we have a bad habit of getting in our cars and driving from our home to work and back and not saying hello on the way. And it's the thing I ran on was having more community in the city, and I'm dedicated to it. We have the largest capital project in the history of Cupertino going on right now. It's a new library. It'll be a challenge to bring that thing on budget, and there isn't a lot of room here between the problems with the economy and the size of that project. We're going to have to do a good job to manage that. And finally, everybody is more aware now of concerns of safety and security, and we need to do our part. We have wonderful, thanks to Sandy, we have wonderful partnerships with public safety. We need to rely on those and use those and open up communication with them. So we're not planning any major changes in the city. I'm not. Our council isn't over the next year, at least not unless these guys have some surprises for me. On communication, it's simple. If you send us a letter, we owe you a letter back. If you call us up, we owe you a call back. We are committed to do that. We're going to take care in developing the library and the sports center. And there are really two issues. There's watching the money and doing these projects well and making sure they come in budget. But there's also a sensitivity to serving the people of the city, to be sure that youth is served well, that all ethnicities are served well, that all interests are served well as we do these projects. We don't want to make a sports center that's exactly like the old one because things may have changed in the last 20 years, and I think we need to make sure that we serve people well. We're going to have to do more diligent monitoring of income and expenses, and I've asked the staff to provide us a report at every council meeting. While the economy is in trouble like this, we're going to have to watch at every council meeting. It will be drudgery to listen to all the numbers, but it's the right thing for us to do right now. Other cities are having layoffs, or they're reducing salaries, or they're not giving raises, or they're stopping hiring. We're not doing any of those things because although we're concerned about the economy and income, we haven't had any indications that say it's time to change. But we will watch, and we need to be prudent about watching the economy and making sure that remains the case. We have good, thriving businesses here, and they fuel our revenues, but we just need to be careful and vigilant that we don't get out of control. We need to improve our relations with schools. We've had a few kind of fallouts recently. We had tough issues, and we are committed to being closer to our school districts, both the boards and the superintendents. I met with Ben Liao, who's the incoming president of the Cupertino Union School District, and we've agreed to have regular meetings once a quarter to just talk through issues. So we want to stay in touch with our schools and work well together. I'll hit on the hot topic of the week maybe, which is our relationship with the Chinese community. We have a bit of a fracture in our community, and we need to work on it. And in particular, I think we have it with communication. And so we're going to do things like I'm going to figure out how I can read the World Journal, which, if you think about it, I read the Valley section of the Mercury News every day, which I'm sure some Mercury News person here will like to hear. I read the Courier cover to cover, and I read our Scene once a month when it comes out. But a good portion of our community reads a newspaper that I can't fathom, the World Journal and Tsingtao Daily. And so I don't know the buzz in that community, and we're going to change that. We're going to have those newspapers, any articles pertinent to Cupertino, we're going to have translated so our council is aware of what's going in that community. It's a small thing, but I think an important thing. And I think it's important that the communication goes both ways. My goal, and I only have a year to accomplish it, but my goal is that we learn to earn the trust of all the people in Cupertino so they don't think we need to be a particular race or color or whatever to represent them well. To do that will take communication, it'll take responsiveness, it'll take real listening, it'll take real thought when we make our decisions that we are representing people broadly. But the goal is to get to a point where we're colorblind, where it doesn't matter if I'm Chinese or not, I can represent anybody, or if I'm Asian, I think I should be able to represent the interests of the Iranian community just fine. And so it's a goal to get there this year, to get the trust and respect. And I think it comes from trust and respect, from us listening and doing what is expected of us. So that'll be a tough one, but I think important. We're going to be doing an update of the general plan, and it's basically to work housing. And we will need the help of the community. The community will define the new general plan, and it's all about how to solve this housing problem without ruining our lifestyle now, right? We don't want a lot of cars, we don't want the tall buildings, but we want to provide housing for people that work here. Now an issue, it's a small issue, but it's the issue that people complain about the most in our city. It's weekly recycling of all things. Now, it doesn't sound like one of those big hitters, but I have had more letters, calls, and emails over weekly recycling as opposed to every 2 weeks recycling. Through creativity in the staff, they have figured out how we can pay for it without charging our residents anything, without raising taxes, and without actually costing money out of our general fund. So we're going to work with Bill Jones back there and figure out how to get it done without costing you a cent. And I know it's a big issue for some people. One of the things that we saw, and we had this teen commission controversy. The bright spot in there is that there is an incredible spirit of volunteerism that we haven't tapped into. And it seems to be particularly strong in the youth. We need to harness it. We need to use it. These people are great. The kids that are on that commission are wonderful and articulate and wise and energetic, and we need to figure out how to harness it, and we'll work on that this year. And one of the things that I want to do in particular, we're going to have a new program called We Value Youth. And this comes from Don't Value Youth. And what I think is actually about half of the problem is that they don't know. That they don't know how much we value them. Because I've been involved in the volunteer community, I see people donating money and services and goods. I see businesses that hire youth and want to hire youth and can't find enough. And I see residents that volunteer in their schools. Our schools they have terrible funding, right? And we have our school district, our elementary district has the lowest funding in the county, and yet it's the highest performing. And why is that true? What's the difference? It's volunteerism. So those kids don't know, and we need to tell them that we do value them. We need to communicate with them, and we need to do more. So we'll have a program where, for instance, a business can put in their window, "We value youth." So a child feels welcome in that business, and maybe they get a discount with their student ID. And we'll work with the chamber and figure out the details. I don't know the details, but I know we need to communicate to our youth that we do value them, that we love them, that we have high expectations of them, that we respect them. And so we're going to work on that this year. And finally, my focus has always been on building community, and I think we have a lot of projects underway to do that. We need to figure out how to do those things, whether it's our town center next door, a little controversy there, whether it's trails or walkability, better retail, more things to do. All of these things we need to work on with a sensitivity to the effect of the people that like the way things are today, right? Neighbors of trails, how do you take care of them so that we don't violate their privacy or their security or their noise or whatever? People, if we do the town center development, how do you take care of the people that have businesses there now? How do you take care of the neighbors that don't want taller buildings? So we're going to have to work on those issues. We're going to need your help. But I think the end, community, we've come to a simple definition of community. It's when you see people outside talking. It's when you see people out there saying hello. It's when you see your kid's teacher in the market and you can have a little chat, or you have a cappuccino stand out here next to the library and you stop and you have a cup of coffee and you meet your neighbors. It's a great goal. We need to do it. We don't want to have a pure bedroom community. We don't want to give up much of the benefits of a bedroom community, but we do need to be out there talking. You know, one of the things about diversity, and we have our issues with diversity, but I'll tell you, I've coached a lot of soccer and I've refereed a lot of soccer, and when you got kids of all colors on your team, they don't care about any of that. They care about being a good member of the team, helping the team, trying to win, at least play a fair game. But it's when we do things together, I think that these issues of differences between us become strengths. And so I think that's why community is important to us. So I want to wrap up. In conclusion is like the favorite two words of one of these speeches, I think, for the audience. So in conclusion, I want to show some appreciation to our previous councils. There's been a long lineage of great city councils and mayors and leaders here that we get to inherit a city that's in great shape, that people love to be in, that has wonderful schools, great youth, and we're lucky. We're lucky to be coming into an environment that has been so well prepared for us by our predecessors, and we owe them all a great thanks. And gee, I guess, Barbara Rogers, you'll have to be the person to accept that tonight. And I'm just going to reiterate that I'm excited as can be. We're going to have a great year. I love my council, and I think we're going to do great things for the city, and I hope you hold us to it. So I'm going to pipe down because we can all go out there and eat before the appetizers get stale and cold. Thanks.
Not so fast. We still have a couple of more items. See?
Oh, I'm sorry. We're not adjourned. Wait a minute. I don't know how to do this yet. Let's see. Where am I? I lost my agenda.
Well, not very likely, but it may be possible that there's someone here to speak under oral communications to discuss any item that was not on the agenda.
Is there anybody?
No. Okay.
This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons wishing to address the council on a matter not on the agenda. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. In most cases, state law will prohibit the council from making any decisions with respect to a matter not listed on the agenda, but don't do it. We want to eat. And no, you're welcome. You're welcome. All right.
Okay, great. No oral communications.
Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak to the council at this time? Taken out of order. It's a previous item. No? Good.
Great.
Now?
I do have one question.
Yes.
Can you tell me what time our meeting is going to start on Monday? Our next council meeting.
With 7:15?
7:15 has been suggested.
Dolly really can't make it till 7:15. I think we should start with Dolly here.
Okay, so we'll be adjourning this meeting to 7:15 on Monday night for our regular council meeting.
Great. Rick is burning to say
Point
something.
of information, I need to meet with the council members and the city manager immediately after this meeting in conference room A for a very, very brief meeting. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll adjourn to that meeting at 7:15. In the meantime, have some food on us.